In a block of flats in Battersea, in London, England, lived a boy called Moog, his mother, and a dog called Rockford. Battersea is famous for 3 things. Its park, where Rockford liked to go for walks, the power station, whose 4 great chimneys can still be seen for miles and miles, and Battersea Dogs Home, where Moog had picked Rockford out earlier that year. But as this is just the start of this adventure, and I can hear the orchestra tuning up, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. There is, after all, an amazing story to tell. Every day, watching as the world goes by in my room. Crazy days, waiting as the world runs dry of good news. But then there came the glorious sound of many voices crying out loud. So we'll roll up and we'll rock the world together. Roll up and see. We won't shut up till we make it better, 'cause you can rock the world with your dreams. So we'll roll up and we'll rock the world together. Roll up and see. We won't shut up till we make it better, 'cause you can rock the world with your dreams. So come and rock the world with your dreams. And the creatures have a secret we need. Rockford the dog was brown with a crooked tail. At first he hadn't been sure of Moog, his new owner. The family who had owned him before had got bored with him, and for a while Rockford hadn't trusted any humans. But he was fine now. Moog loved him, and so did Moog's mother. However, in a small flat, on a long winter's afternoon, a boy and a dog can get just a little bit in the way. So when an uncle comes to visit, then it's a good idea to get him to take the boy and the dog to the park, to run about and get exercise, so that mums can get on with important things like tidying bedrooms and cooking dinner. So that's exactly what happened this winter's afternoon in Battersea. Moog liked his uncle. He had taken him to the Natural History Museum the day before, and they had looked at the dinosaurs together. They had bought a model of a T-Rex you could build out of cardboard and spent the evening making it. It was quite difficult, and in fact, when it was finished, it looked more like a crocodile trying to peer over a fence. But Moog put it on his shelf all the same.
It's amazing to think creatures like that once roamed the earth,
he said.
I'm not sure creatures exactly like that ever did,
said his mother.
But I know what you mean.
Now, as they got ready to go out into the cold, Moog and his uncle were looking forward to roaming with Rockford in a wintry Battersea park.
Make sure you take care of Rockford,
said Moog's mother.
He likes to run off.
Of course I will,
said the uncle, winking at Moog and grabbing a football on Rockford's lead.
Come on, you two, let's go.
As they walked together towards the park, the sky was darkening to a deep blue. To the west, the winter sun was tangerine orange and sinking down below the rooftops along Battersea Park Road. And to the east, the great grey chimneys of Battersea Power Station pointed up towards the stars that were just beginning to shine. Battersea Park was full of people, and as soon as his lead was released, Rockford ran off happily. He loved the park, and so did Moog, and when they were together, life felt better. When you're down, feeling tired and cold and pretty useless, he's the one that glums will let the sun shine through. If you go roaming with Rockford when you've a trouble to beat, he knows and he'll take you homeward where life is sweet for you and me. down the ways and when you're walking. He's the chum who comes to make the fun times true. If you go roaming with Rockford when you've a trouble to beat, he knows and he'll take you homeward where life is sweet for you and me. Moog and his uncle were now kicking the football to each other, shouting bits of commentary as they did. But suddenly, when they looked round to check where Rockford was, to their alarm, he wasn't. This wasn't too serious because Rockford often ran off chasing after an interesting smell or another dog, so they assumed he'd soon reappear from behind a bush or round a fence. But he didn't. Moog's uncle's heart sank. This was exactly what he'd been told not to do.
Oh no, where is he? We must find him,
he said.
He was over there,
Said Moog.
towards the lake.
That's exactly where Rockford was. He had found a tree near the lake, which was one of his favourite places for doing what dogs do by trees. The tree had a blue carrier bag caught in its bare winter branches. It was too high for anyone to reach and had been there for ages, snapping in the wind like a flag. It meant Rockford could always remember that tree, and he thought it was special. Because when he did what dogs do by trees, the humans would always scoop it up in bags and put it carefully into strange-looking black boxes by the side of the path. Must be important, thought Rockford. Maybe it's magic. Rockford pointed his bottom down at the ground below the tree, but something wasn't right. Something felt odd. Then he heard what sounded like a squeak, so he stood up again.
Please be careful, I'm only small,
Said a voice that sounded as if it was coming from his bottom. Rockford craned his head right round and began walking in a circle, trying to catch his bottom up, but he could never quite manage it. And he couldn't quite see the small, sticky yellow creature with a rough green stripe down its back that was now attached to him, although he could hear it complaining that it was now stuck to his backside.
Oh dear, I really do need to get off,
Said the animal, its little yellow legs waving helplessly in the air. As Rockford walked round and round trying to see whatever it was, he began to feel dizzy. He was aware of moving closer to the side of the lake, but it was only when he felt the feel of the ground change under his paws that he stopped and looked round. There was water on every side. He was standing on what seemed to be a gigantic leaf, with its edges curled round like the sides of a boat, and with a large leafy sail, and he was now drifting out into the lake. He could hear his name being called from somewhere behind. He wanted to run back to Moog, but the shore was now quite far away.
What on earth is happening?
Said the little yellow creature, who was obviously just as confused as Rockford. Rockford didn't have a clue who this stranger attached to him was, and the little animal was certainly now well and truly stuck. But then, as if to read his mind, the small, sticky creature stared up from Rockford's bottom and said,
We're stuck because I am a cocklebur ick.
And as the leaf boat drifted further out into the dusky lake, and with Moog's worried cries echoing further away, the cocklebur ick told Rockford its story.
There were once many cocklebur icks. We were sticky, not pretty or quick. 'Cause people are twits. They didn't want cocklebur icks, for our fur was all sticky and thick. And we cried in the night in the street.
One day a man came to the Icks. He seemed kind and his smiles were all sweet. Some people aren't twits, Perhaps thought the Cocklebur-icks, he'll see beauty is more than skin deep.
So why not come play for a bit?
Said the man to the Cocklebur-icks.
With your fur that will stick, quick, come to my house and we'll sit. We'll have tea and jam, raisins and sweets.
So along went the Cocklebur-icks, and they sang as they danced down the street.
But it all was a horrible trick, for this man wasn't friendly a bit, 'cause people were twits.
He captured the Cocklebur-icks, used their fur for fastening his bits, 'cause the coat of the Cocklebur-ick was cheaper than buttons and zips. So the tale of the Cocklebur-ick is a tale that'll make you feel sick, 'cause people are twits. You'll never see Cocklebur-icks in the fields or the parks or the streets. The poor little Cocklebur-icks, all undone 'cause of fur that would stick,
And 'cause people are twits.
They never reached the other side of the lake. As Rockford listened to the Cocklebur-ick's sad story, a mysterious warm breeze caught the leafy sail, pushing the little boat faster and faster across the water. The murky lake became a wide blue ocean, and the sky became a mix of incredible colours fizzing and dancing above them. With the little ick still stuck awkwardly to his bottom, Rockford peered nervously over the side of the leaf-boat, wondering where on earth this strange journey was taking them. Then, as the boat slowed, far in the distance he saw the shape of an island, glowing warmly beneath the vivid sky. There was a splash from the water next to the boat. Rockford looked round and found himself staring at a funny-looking creature with a large green head, 2 big black eyes, and an awful lot of legs.
I think this must mean we're nearly there.
Said the ick. Suddenly, Rockford jumped back in shock as 2 wet tentacles clamped themselves to the side, and then, smoothly, the leggy creature heaved itself up out of the water and onto the boat. 8 further tentacles came over the side as it did, clamping themselves on with hundreds of little suckers.
Colonel Utensil and Squid Squad at your service,
announced the creature.
You're an octopus,
said Ick.
Wrong, I'm a dectopus. I have 10 legs, count them 10. And are you the Ick?
Said Colonel Utensil, examining a seaweed sheet he held in one of his tentacles.
You're much bigger than I thought.
I'm the same size I've always been.
Colonel Utensil's big black eyes swiveled and focused.
You're speaking without moving your mouth. Squid Squad, form up.
There was a splashing from the water beside the boat, and Rockford saw a massed waving of tentacles as 6 or 7 more multi-legged things scurried into action. They lined up in neat formation, and then, squirting powerful jets of water behind them, they began circling round and round the boat. Rockford could see them watching him closely, their little eyes gazing up from beneath the surface of the water. This was clearly a force to be reckoned with.
They can't come out of the water,
said Colonel Utensil, looking down at his little troop.
Only dectopuses or dectopie, if you want to be la-di-da about it, ever developed the ability to spend time out of the water. Not
He sniffed.
that it ever did us much good.
Rockford didn't really understand this.
Still, they're as good a bunch of cephalopods as you'll find. Good lads, all of them. Apart from Lulu there, she's a female.
And that's the Squid Squad.
Well, the recruitment criteria specify a member of the squid family at least. They come from all over, very old most of them. If it's got tentacles and it squirts ink, it's in, generally speaking.
Colonel Utensil glanced down again at his squid squad, bobbing in the water with their legs waving. He looked almost proud, until he snapped himself out of it.
Now see here,
He said, his two large eyes rolling up and down as he scanned his seaweed sheet.
you don't match the description I've got for an ick. You are clearly a large and furry animal, and on my list it says small and sticky. You are not small and you are not sticky, and therefore you are not an ick.
I am small and I am sticky. That's why I'm stuck.
You don't look sticky to me, you look hairy, big and hairy. In fact, I'll describe you as a large hairy quadruped, and on my list it says small sticky vertebrate. There's some funny business going on here, and no mistake.
Oh, I think I see the problem. I've got a dog stuck to me.
Stuck to you, thought Rockford. That's a bit of a cheek. You're stuck to me.
What do you want to do that for?
It always happens. Things stick to me.
Realising the Dectopus couldn't see the little ick stuck to his backside, Rockford decided to try and help. So he shifted round and presented his bottom.
Don't move!
Shouted the Dectopus.
Utensil to base, large furry mammal in boat currently manoeuvring into hostile position. Request backup.
At this, Squid Squad shot to the surface and came hurtling out of the water and into the air. Rockford saw their tentacles extending into kung fu kicks with scary speed. Then they dropped back into the water again.
Lesson for trying, but you can't form a truly efficient fighting unit when you can't survive out of water. I kept telling them I need an air-breathing detachment to do this job properly, but the bureaucracy in that place.
Now can you see me?
Said Ick. Colonel Utensil jumped.
Oh!
He said, rocking backwards on his 10 rubbery legs.
Down here. Near his...
No need to get graphic. I can see you now. Ah, yes, that's more like it. You match the description perfectly. Small and sticky. You're on the list,
Announced Colonel Utensil. He seemed happy and squirted a blob of ink next to a picture on his seaweed that looked like an ick. Then he stared back at Rockford.
And what did you say this was?
A dog. He got stuck to me in Battersea Park.
Dog, eh? You're not on a list. Mostly insects today, plus this ick, but definitely no dog.
What was this list he kept talking about? And why was it so important who was on it? And why was this island guarded by a squid squad? Rockford didn't have a clue what it all meant, so he just kept quiet, which was generally his way. He found it usually worked. Utensil thought for a second.
You haven't got a moth with you, have you?
No.
Dog instead of a moth, eh?
The Colonel seemed strangely pleased by this prospect.
Not my problem.
He eventually announced.
And I need to get wet again. Squad, dismiss.
He flipped himself off the boat and swam to the head of the squid squad, who could now hardly contain their excitement.
Wait for it, wait for it. Right. Squid squad squirt.
Colonel Utensil and Squid Squad disappeared into the distance, the leaf boat began moving again, and at last it seemed Rockford and Ick were to be allowed to land on the mysterious island with its long, welcoming beach. Rockford looked at the warm, inviting sand, which piled up into high, grass-tufted dunes beyond the beach. A little way along was the mouth of a large river. There was something a bit odd about it, but Rockford couldn't work out what. The leaf boat drifted in and landed gently on the beach. Rockford was just about to jump out when a large shape loomed up before him. The shape seemed to narrow towards the top. Against the swirling sky, Rockford couldn't make out much detail, but he was faintly aware of feathers. And, as his eyes started to adjust, he recognised the shape above him. He recognised it from Battersea Park. It was like a duck, but much bigger, and much less duckish. It was like a really, really huge duck who had let himself go a bit, got very overweight, and allowed his wings to shrivel up from disuse. This didn't seem to bother the creature one bit, though. It looked rather pleased with itself. Its huge beak opened.
Good morning. Welcome to infinity.
That must be the island's name, thought Rockford. But before he had time to think any further, strange noises began to emerge from behind the sand dunes.
I think they might be about to welcome you.
Who?
Said Ick. But no sooner had Ick said this, when from high on the dunes there came the sound of many voices.
It's all up for you and me now, 'cause we are celebrities in lands of eternity. 3 cheers for us all. We don't get sad at all. Lost on infinity's world.
Chin up. Come along. There's lots to do.
And the time to dwell.
Goodbye to all you knew.
You've kissed the world farewell. We're lost on infinity in the sea of tranquility. It's all up for you and me now, 'cause we are celebrities in lands of eternity. 3 cheers for us all. We don't get sad at all. Lost on infinity's world. You've kissed the love farewell. You've kissed the love farewell. You've kissed the love
That was very nice.
Said Ick.
They've had lots of time to practice.
Said the bird.
Now you are the Ick then, are you?
In order to help answer this question, Rockford shuffled round and once again presented his bottom. He knew this wasn't polite, but there didn't seem to be much choice. Ick waved up to the bird.
Hello, it's me you want actually. I'm the Cocklebur Ick.
Ick!
Shouted the bird rather theatrically.
Right on time. Welcome to your new home. You met Colonel Utensil, I take it? Squid Squad, check you over.
The bird looked at Rockford.
So are you the moth?
Rockford couldn't believe this question.
He's a dog.
I didn't think he looked like a moth. Too much fur, not enough wings. Oh dear. So where's the moth then?
I don't know. What's its name?
Well, there's the problem. It hasn't got one.
Hasn't got one?
Never been discovered, and too late now.
Not for the first time, Rockford found himself wanting to know what on earth this place was. There were wonderful brightly coloured palm trees and odd hopping birds just up the beach. There were strange footprints too, and weird shells strewn across the glowing sand, all illuminated by that amazing swirling sky.
I hope you'll soon settle in. I'm here to help.
To help, thought Rockford. How exactly is a huge fat bird who can't fly supposed to do that?
Some species take a while to adjust. It's the loneliness, you see. Not that you'll ever be alone, dear me, no. There are millions and millions of us here, but, of course, only one of each. That tends to be the problem.
Rockford was baffled now.
How do you mean?
Said Ig.
Oh, dear. Do you know anything about how you got here?
Not much. I felt a strange pull, like an instinct, you know, like birds have to migrate.
Not us,
said the fat bird, looking down at his stubby, used-to-be wings.
Maybe that was the problem.
Neither Ick nor Rockford knew what this meant, and Ick carried on.
It started a few days ago. I had this sort of lonely feeling, and I felt sort of drawn to go somewhere.
Rockford looked at the bird. This was the second unusual animal he'd met in the last few minutes. He began to pine for home. Despite the sea, the sky, and the lovely beach, he was already missing Moog.
But it all started with this strange pull.
Yes, that's how it always happens. A mysterious pull, as it were, to leave. No one knows quite how it works, but it does.
So, what's infinity?
I do so hate this bit,
said the bird, scratching the sand with one foot.
You see, you are the last of the Icks.
There's not many of us left, certainly.
No. You'd better come up the beach while I explain. You see, when I say you are the last of the Icks, I mean you are the very last. You are...
He paused as if he could hardly bring himself to say the word.
Extinct.
But I'm here.
But that's why you're here. This is where everything comes when it's extinct. The last of every species.
Oh,
said Ick.
Follow me. There's all the checking in to do first, and a great many creatures to meet.
In the sea of tranquility, it's all up for you and me now. 'Cause we are celebrities in lands of eternity, lost on infinity's swell. We're lost on infinity in the sea of tranquility, it's all up for you and me now. 'Cause we are celebrities in lands of eternity. 3 cheers for us all.
Hip, 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 hooray!
We don't get sad at all.
No, we certainly do not.
Lost on infinity's swell.
What a splendid place to be lost, if I may say so. This magnificent island with unique characteristics, absolutely marvellous. Marvellous.
They made their way up the beach, and as they did, Rockford glanced across at the mouth of the river, which met the sea away across the sand. It looked like the mouth of any river, with a spit of land sticking out, and insects hovering over it. Strange insects, some of them. But then everything about infinity was a bit odd. Then he realised what it was that made the river so extraordinary. He could see quite clearly that water was flowing into it, and not out of it. This river was going backwards. The large bird, who had the slightly disappointing name of Patrick, padded across the sand with his great clawed feet, and as they walked, the sand got drier, and as they reached the top of the dunes, they looked down into a great valley and across the backwards flowing river spiralling away into the island. At the head of the valley were what looked like 2 arches, and they could see lots of creatures gathered together. And all of them only exist here, thought Rockford. No one back at home, like Moog, will ever see them, even though he'd be really interested. Rockford was just thinking about all this when they passed a huge, trudging brown furry thing, hauling itself very slowly down the path. A small creature sat on its back, shouting encouragement in its tiny voice.
Come on, you great furry lad! Get a move on, Lord Bucket!
Who on earth's that?
Slothius Megaslothius, the laziest animal ever to have bothered to evolve, became extinct over a century ago. Took him 50 years just to walk up the beach.
Rockford found this amazing, but they'd already overtaken the giant sloth who was grumbling about going so fast. Patrick carried on.
The island is divided up into sections, for administrative reasons mainly. You'll have lots of time to explore once you've been checked into reception and your details are sent to the Fossil Record Office.
Rockford really didn't like the sound of that. The path narrowed, and there, rising up before them, were the two great arches, forming a grand entrance to the rest of the island. Made from ancient weathered rock, one was built on the land, the other spanned the backwards flowing river. Beyond, Rockford could see the river curving away into the distance, and he could see jungles and deserts and mountains, every landscape you could imagine. And as he looked harder, he saw hundreds more creatures, in the trees, on the land, in the air, and swimming in the water.
Is this it?
Said Ick.
It is.
Said Patrick, and he sounded proud, even though the Ick felt a little scared. In front of the land arch were the animals they'd seen from the dunes. Up close, they could see they were lined up into a sort of queue. There were lots of mammals, insects, reptiles and birds in the queue, and as Rockford looked down, he could see more creatures waiting in the river. On the bank, between the arches, was a sort of check-in desk, and behind the desk was an extraordinary-looking worm, with what looked like millions and millions of little legs, each one holding a piece of chalk, and scribbling frantically.
Is the sloth here yet?
No,
said Patrick.
Oh, he's mucking up the entire system.
Indeed,
came a shrill voice, and a terrifying yellow, mantis-like thing appeared from behind the desk.
Most inconsiderate. We like to keep order here, the Billipede and I. It's bad enough that there are more and more of you arriving here without you all arriving in the wrong order.
As it said this, its neck extended outwards like a telescope, so that its head loomed over them menacingly. Rockford trembled. He didn't like this mantis thing, and he certainly didn't want it looking at him.
Who?
Announced the mantis in its cold voice.
Is that?
Don't know,
blurted the Billipede, and its legs fluttered in panic.
It's me, the Cocklebur Ick.
I know about you. You're on the list. I meant that.
It's a dog,
explained Patrick.
He's with me, but I think he's come a little too far. He can go back now.
The mantis laughed.
Ha ha ha. I,
it said,
am the registrar, and you,
it went on,
need to listen very carefully. 2, 3, 4. I am the one who all creatures must come to. I like things to run efficiently. No use pretending there's no happy ending. I don't understand what they mean when they say,
oh dear me, I think we've come a little too far. Won't you set us free?
No, 'cause I am the registrar. I have a job to do, so please don't ask me to make an exception for you. If you are here, then it's perfectly clear what the next thing is I have to do. So don't say,
oh dear me, I think we've come a little too far. Won't you set us free?
No, 'cause I am the registrar.
Oh dear me, I think we've come a little too far. Won't you set us free?
No, 'cause I am the registrar.
The registrar grabbed a piece of wood strung with vines like some sort of guitar, and then, with the Billipede running manically up and down the neck, the registrar let rip.
Say that thing! dogs who have popped off their clogs, and from now will not be any more. Don't look surprised, you're to be fossilized. There are plenty it's happened to before. And they all say,
Dear me, I think we've gone a little too far. Won't you set us free?
no, because I am the registrar.
Oh, dear me, I think we've gone a little too far. Won't you set us free?
No, because I am the registrar. I am the registrar. I am the registrar.
Go back.
cried the registrar,
I haven't explained.
said Patrick, who was a kindly creature and clearly felt uncomfortable.
You can't go back. It's impossible. Don't you understand where you are? This is infinity. You're extinct. Nothing that's extinct can go back. That's the point of being extinct. You're here now. Once we've checked you into the fossil record, this is your home. Forever.
I think there's been a mistake.
said Ick.
I think so too. It's never happened before.
There are no exceptions. It's impossible. By definition and by the rule, nothing that's arrived on infinity can go back. If you could just put your paw print here.
Rockford was an obedient dog, and before anyone had time to stop him, he had plonked his paw down in a patch of mud and left a nice, neat print, which dried instantly and was quickly scurried away by insects, who put it on a lily pad at the side of the river. Then, as Rockford watched, the stem was cut, and together with his paw print, the lily pad floated away into the distance.
Oh dear,
said Patrick.
I'm afraid that's it.
What's it? What's happened?
His print is on its way to the Fossil Record Office. He's been checked in.
There's no going back,
cried the registrar.
I'm afraid it's true,
said Patrick. Far away in Battersea Park, Moog and his uncle were still looking for Rockford.
Oh no, your mum will kill me,
said Moog's uncle.
Rockford, come on, boy.
They split up to search, and as it began to snow, their two lonely figures called out in the gathering dusk.
As the night is falling, a lonely cry is ringing out the day. All alone and it's dawning, that happy times have left and gone astray. Today, away is he calling? A lonely heart all lost and gone away. So he'll search till the morning. Will happiness return at break of day? Today, afraid. What did he do? Did he run away? But where will he go? And how far will he stray? Lost on the road on a winter night, giving up the ghost and giving up the fight. It's true, but I don't believe this tale's already through. So he'll keep on calling till his time is due, and he'll keep on walking 'cause this tale is true. It's true. It's true.
Moog had been searching for some time, when down the path he saw a familiar sight. Pulling on his blue Battersea Dog's home lead was one of Rockford's friends, Jarvis the Spaniel, and behind him was a dog walker from Battersea Dog's home.
You haven't seen Rockford, have you?
Asked Moog.
He was sniffing around by the boats,
said the dog walker.
Shall we have a look?
And with renewed hope, Moog ran back towards the lake. Down by the water, all was quiet. A single yellow light illuminated the still surface, where there bobbed a row of small pleasure boats moored up for the winter. Moog was just about to turn back, when out of the corner of his eye, he saw a movement on board one of them.
Rockford?
Moog stepped carefully onto the boat. It was a strange craft, unlike any of the others, made in the shape of a leaf. But as Moog stepped on board, instead of just bobbing up and down and tugging at its ropes, the little boat started to drift out into the lake. Moog was too busy searching to notice the gentle movement as he peered down into the boat.
Rockford?
He whispered. But instead of Rockford jumping up to welcome him, all Moog saw was a small, unremarkable-looking green moth fluttering up into the light. Just then he heard a cry from the lakeside, which, looking up, he realised was now some distance away. It was the dog walker who was standing on the bank and shouting. But he wasn't shouting to Moog. He was staring at his dog, who was standing next to him on the bank, and he was calling his name. And as Moog watched, he could see why. The dog was disappearing. In front of his eyes, it was melting away into thin air. It was like it was being rubbed out. First his tail, and his back legs, then his shoulders and his head, and finally his nose. Soon, Jarvis the dog had vanished completely.
Jarvis?
What the dog walker couldn't have known, what nobody on earth could have known, was that just a second before, far away on the island of infinity, Rockford had been checked in by the registrar. Dogs were now extinct, and one by one they were vanishing from Earth, starting here by the lake in Battersea Park. Moog looked on in amazement. He had never seen anything so strange, until just a few seconds later, when the green moth that was still fluttering above his head started to talk. It wasn't clear what it was saying at first. Occasional words mixed with a purring flapping of wings, but as Moog concentrated and the boat drifted further out into the lake, the anonymous moth fixed him with its feathery antennae and said,
I can't see why the world won't see. I am green, but my nose is clean. I used to dream that I had secrets for us. It's not to be, for this anonymous moth is lost. One day soon the world will wake up fully. What's the world to do? No one left for calling. One day soon the world will wake up high and dry. And then they'll miss me. The truth was in me, but all the world was blind. They won't see that I hold the key, and those dreams will remain undreamed.
So with the dog walker left on the snowy lakeside, staring blankly at the place where his dog had vanished, and with more and more worried calls beginning to echo around Battersea Park, a bewildered boy and an anonymous moth drifted out into the lake.
We need anonymous moths
and disappeared.
What's the world to do? No one left for calling. One day soon the world will wake up high and dry. And then they'll miss me. The truth was in me, but all the world was blind. I am green, but the world won't see.
It's such a shame. I thought I had something to offer. A moth of destiny. A significant species. But it doesn't look like it now. Ah, what a pity.
And so another lonely creature now found itself drifting under a swirling sky towards the island of infinity and its home among the world's extinct animals. Only this time, there was a human being there, too.
today, another lost and lonely stray, all washed up upon the shore to live among the dinosaurs. That's bad luck. So let him hear the glorious sound of many voices crying out loud. So roll up and we'll rock the world together. Roll up and see. We won't shut up till we make it better, 'cause you can rock the world with your dreams.
Said Feeble Beetle, but Rockford didn't. It isn't every day you find yourself extinct by mistake. With the sticky cocklebur ick now removed from his rear and checked in by the registrar, Rockford was feeling more alone than ever. Of course, it was because of Ick that he was in all this mess, but he didn't blame Ick. It wasn't anybody's fault, and now he really missed his sticky new friend.
Look at me.
Continued Feeble.
I'm rubbish. An evolutionary wrong turning if ever there was one.
Yeah, what are you going to be worried about, mate?
Said Rolf, a rather scary-looking striped wolf, looking hard at Rockford.
At least you'll be famous. Most of us no one's ever heard of.
Famous? Thought Rockford.
The dog who arrived by accident. They'll tell stories about you.
But Rockford didn't want to be famous. He wanted to be home. With his head bowed, he wandered alone back to the top of the sand dunes and looked longingly out across the sea of tranquility. He might have started to feel better, however, if he had known what was happening a little way out to sea. Colonel Utensil was astonished. The military mind likes everything to run like clockwork, but today things were going all over the place. There was another leaf boat heading for infinity, and whatever was sitting in it did not look like a moth.
Sergeant Lulu,
said Colonel Utensil.
Does the occupant of that boat look to you like a moth?
The second-in-command squid poked a pair of beady black eyes out of the water.
That's what I thought,
said Utensil.
Too large and lacking in both the wing and antennae department. Moth status negative. Second unscheduled species today. Chaos, I call it. Right, Squid Squad, form up!
Not long afterwards, the boat was drifting towards the sand, and Patrick was in his usual place to greet the occupants.
Good morning,
said the big fat bird.
Welcome to infinity.
I just met a dectopus,
said a small human being in the boat.
It told me I'd have to talk to you. This place is amazing.
You don't have a moth with you, do you?
Asked Patrick.
I did have,
replied the boy.
It was here a minute ago. I don't know where it's gone.
It's overdue,
said Patrick.
But who are you?
I'm Moog,
said Moog, climbing from the boat, and they started to walk up the beach together. But Patrick and Moog didn't have long to talk, because they were soon interrupted by a joyous barking from high up on the dunes. Rockford had seen who was in the boat and was now bounding down the beach to greet them.
Rockford! Come on, boy! Good boy! Good dog! Come on!
Moog hugged his dog as Rockford wagged his tail happily.
What are you doing here, Rockford? We have to get back. Everyone will be worried about us.
Yes. Now that's not as easy as it sounds. The thing is, he's been checked in,
said Patrick, glancing at Rockford.
It was all a bit of a mistake. His print is on its way to the Fossil Record Office.
Fossils? Like dinosaurs?
You know about them,
said Patrick, who wasn't sure what humans did and didn't know about.
Well, yes, the Fossil Record Office is where we record a relic, a paw print, a feather, a leaf, from every species that's ever lived. It's like their signature.
I know,
said the boy, much to Patrick's puzzlement.
All that's left is a print in a rock. I saw some at the museum, but you said, "Welcome to infinity." What's that?
Infinity is where the last one of every species comes when it's extinct,
Patrick replied with his well-practiced speech.
So if Rockford was checked in, it means dogs are extinct?
For administrative purposes, yes. Although until his print enters the Fossil Record Office, it's not official, of course, and the registrar has to have everything official.
Moog looked at Rockford, who sensed he might have done something bad. But Moog wasn't cross. He was just realising why the dog in the park had disappeared.
No wonder it vanished,
he said.
You've extincted dogs.
Patrick was puzzled by this word, which wasn't surprising, since Moog had just made it up.
Just imagine what must be happening back home.
Patrick tried, but he didn't have much in the way of imagination. He just did his job, as best he could. But Moog had realised what must be going on. And he was right.
Tonight's main headline is the mysterious disappearance of the world's canines. In just a few hours, millions of dogs of all breeds have vanished, apparently into thin air. The first cases were reported in the vicinity of Battersea Park around 4:15 this afternoon. Battersea Dogs Home reported their kennels empty around 4:30, and rapidly dogs began disappearing across London. Buckingham Palace reported that corgis gone by 4:45. Heathrow Airport's sniffer dogs vanished around the same time. Pet shops began inundating the police with calls, but many officers were too busy trying to work out where their own Alsatians had gone.
World today, all of the dogs have gone away. This is the news from a street in Battersea, and all of the paws aren't out to play, for all the dogs have gone away. This is the news from a street in Battersea. This is
This is World News Today.
In parks across southern England, dog owners were throwing sticks that never came back, and neither did the animals.
In a statement issued by the Kennel Club, the chairman said,
"We haven't the remotest clue what is happening."
By 5 o'clock, French news agencies had reports of les chiens disparus, and within another half hour, the Germans were missing their hunts.
We have never seen anything of this nature in Germany. This is most unusual. We are not liking this absence of doggies.
And now, over to Tony in New York.
This is the news from the world today. All of the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the street in Battersea. And none of the jobs got done today, for all the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the street in Battersea. This is today.
On Infinity, a growing crowd of creatures had gathered on the dunes to stare down onto the beach and the island's latest arrival.
That's a human, isn't it?
Said Nelson, the rice rat.
It is.
Said the mysterious starling.
What's it doing here?
Said the bluebuck.
I don't know.
Said Feeble Beetle.
Perhaps they got rubbish too.
The animals sounded wary. Many of those who had gathered had been made extinct by humans, one way or the other, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. Some of them had been hunted because they happened to be tasty. Others had lived in the trees that the humans had burned or turned into houses. Others had not got on with the animals that humans brought with them. And of course, now there was Ick, who stood at the back, listening to their stories, and realising that Cocklebur Icks were far from alone in their unfortunate tale. Hopping around the sand in agitation, followed by an admiring group of extinct birds, was Iggy, who was a passenger pigeon.
I don't dig me no human,
he said.
And what's so special about you?
Said Rolf the wolf.
Time was, there was millions and millions of us passenger pigeons. You saw a flock of us, boy, we'd blot out the sky. If you walked underneath, you better have an umbrella or you're gonna get spattered, if you pardon the unsavory picture.
So how come you're extinct if there were so many of you?
Said Feeble.
You're not rubbish.
'Cause we flew in such big flocks, we were kind of an easy target for humans. We hadn't seen no guns before. Guns is kind of cheating. They shot us down in tons and tons until, darn it, if they ain't plugged every single one of us with lead. And I wake up, find myself here, the very last of my kind, all died out. And I won't forgive no human, not no how.
And with that, Iggy and the birds told it how it was.
Way back in the fall of '93, we took to the skies, my folks and me. A prettier sight you could not see, till high in the air they poured a sea of fire. All died out. Another lesson learned. And now the lessons learned I may be free, but they won't see me anymore. No picking the corn way out on the plain. No filling the skies, no dance in the rain. No passenger left, all washed down the drain. Ain't nothing that's left untouched by this rain of fire. All died out. Another lesson learned. And now the lessons learned I may be free, but they won't see me. All died out. Another lesson learned. And now the lessons learned I may be free, but they won't see me.
Sing it, girls! Hell, this ain't fair. They got guns, we got feathers. Is that a fair contest? I do not think so. Never a cloud when you need it.
All died out. Another lesson learned.
I like it.
But now the lessons learned I may be free.
Sing it again.
But they won't see me. All died out. Another lesson learned. And now the lessons learned I may be free, but they won't see me.
Now see here, boys, just because we're singing about it don't mean we're happy about it.
I don't like humans either,
said Ono, a scruffy bird with a big spoon-shaped beak. Ono was a dodo, and one of the few animals on Infinity that Moog might recognise. Everyone knew about the dodo, because it had been made extinct by humans, who found it so easy to catch that they ate them all, down to the very last one. Nearby, staring out to sea, stood the great auk, who looked a bit like a big stately penguin. Like Patrick, she couldn't fly. But unlike Patrick, the great auk feared humans more than almost any other creature on Infinity, because she had seen what they could do. 2 men had smashed her eggs, for fun. The last thing she saw on Earth were those same humans coming towards her and her partner with sticks. And then she had woken up on Infinity, safe, but alone. She would never forgive humans, and now, as she stared at Moog, she remembered.
Down near the frozen waters, on starry nights we dreamed and played. As we lay on rocky altars, we kept love warm and named the day. We planned of other places, we dreamed of sunsets yet to come. But they came with empty faces. I looked around and you were gone. All gone. And it seems in the stars that I dreamed too far in my mind. I still hold you, but those wings are now washed out to sea. And it's a dream that we dream too far. A heart for a lonely heart.
Now, you thinking what I'm thinking?
Said Iggy, looking down at the great auk.
Let's go see us the registrar.
No hopes of other places, no dreams and stars high up above. Though you're gone, I'll never leave you. I never said goodbye, my love, my love. And it seems in the stars that I dreamed too far in my mind. I still hold you, but those wings are now washed out to sea. Can you be in the stars where we dreamed too far in my mind? I will hold you till the ending of ours, I'll believe.
And so, with the great auk's lonely calls echoing behind them, Iggy the passenger pigeon and Ono the dodo set off to find the registrar, a determined look on their beaks. Down on the beach, the boy and his dog and the mower gazed up at the animals, who gazed back from the dunes with a gaze that didn't look entirely friendly.
So what can we do?
Said Moog.
I'm not sure,
replied Patrick.
Perhaps we should take you to be checked in.
Moog stared at him, baffled.
Are you daft? Look what happened to my dog. Weren't you listening to anything I said?
Oh, every word.
If you check me in, what will happen?
Said Moog patiently.
You will be extinct.
Exactly. Human beings will disappear. We'll be extinct and it'll all be a mistake. So whatever happens, you must get me away from this check-in while we work out how to stop Rockford's paw print getting to the Fossil Record Office.
The print is being floated down the Great Backwards River to the centre of the island,
said Patrick, reciting his speech again.
Then the spoos will take it up to its position in the fossil record, and then... that's it.
It?
Repeated Moog.
Officially extinct.
Then that's what we've got to stop.
Stop? Patrick marvelled. This was the one thing that the humans did that no other animal could. Think ahead, plan things, try and stop things. They could look at a situation and try and work out what it might mean and different ways that it might work out. And that way, they could try and affect the future. It was amazing. They could change the rules. It hadn't taken Iggy and Ono long to find the registrar. The giant, harsh-voiced, guitar-riffing mantis was hopping around the valley, aware that something unusual was going on, desperate to sort things out and to get order restored. Rules were being broken today, and rules were not meant to be broken. Alerted by the birds, the registrar now joined the crowd on the dunes and stared coldly down at the small boy on the beach.
If a human is here,
Iggy was saying,
then it should be checked in. It's always been done that way.
I know that,
said the registrar in its sharp, metallic tone.
You don't need to tell me what to do. 2, 3, 4. I am the one, make exception for none. I just like things to run efficiently. All species face their fate. I don't discriminate. No one is special to me. But they still say, oh, dear me, I think we've gone a little too far. Won't you set us free? No, because I am the registrar. Oh, dear me, I think we've gone a little too far. Won't you set us free? No, because I am the registrar. The registrar now grabbed 2 pieces of wood strung to create a double-headed guitar, and with the billipede once again speeding up and down, the registrar wigged out. Ha ha ha! I am the registrar!
Sorry,
said Iggy. Nobody liked to cross the registrar. It was rumoured that it had arrived on Infinity by eating the only other one of its kind.
Anyway, we're all agreed, aren't we?
The registrar looked down at the group of animals, all of whom seemed to agree that humans were a bad thing. And looking on from the back of the crowd was a small, sticky Cocklebur-ick.
Won't any of those animals help?
said Moog, looking up to the crowd on the dunes. Patrick stared away into the distance, too polite to answer, but the boy understood what his silence meant.
I know people can be horrible to animals,
said Moog, who had read about the dodo and the great auk at the Natural History Museum.
Rockford's first owners were a bit cruel to him.
Rockford shook himself at this, and they could see it was true.
So do all the animals here hate humans?
Oh no, not all,
said Patrick kindly.
There are many animals here who have nothing at all against people. After all, you haven't been around very long, have you? Take my friend the Hercules bird. Died out 65 million years ago. Nothing to do with humans whatsoever. All those creatures...
He looked up to the crowd on the dunes.
...are recent arrivals. What we need is someone with no preconceptions. Like Herc. He really should be here by now. Ah! Here he is.
As Moog looked up, the enormous orange shape of a giant flying creature was looming towards them. It looked familiar. He had seen a picture of something a bit like it in books. But the things he had seen in books were just big. This was more than big. The Hercules was bigger than big. It was enormous. It was gigantic. It was the largest creature Moog had ever seen. It was the largest creature anyone had ever seen. It was as big as a blue whale, but it was flying on 2 huge sets of double wings and a vast beating tail.
This is the Hercules bird. Herc to his friends. Fascinating life story, of course, terrible really. One day jetting around the world, the next, kaboom! If you see what I mean.
Moog didn't have a clue what he was talking about.
Well, you see,
said Patrick,
it's like this. To the skies, see the mountain that seems to fly by. Hard to believe that this creature was once built for speed. So you may ask, how did something so large fly so fast? Far in the past, it was blessed with the power to blast. He's a Hercules bird, and though it sounds quite absurd, they were the first wind-powered heroes. They blew off like a rocket, the fastest things that ever flew. Lord of the skies, there's no others could fly quite so high. Oh, don't you know, in hot weather they all would explode. For he's a Hercules bird, and though it sounds quite absurd, high in the sun these wind-powered heroes, they blew up like a rocket, the fastest blast that ever flew. So much for supernova. Behold the biggest bang that ever blew. Cretaceous mass extinctions weren't due to cosmic frictions, but spontaneous combustions of Hercules proportion. Oh yeah, so this mighty flying sumo now flies our skies in solo, a sprint wind-powered hero, last Hercules to zero. Oh yeah.
The giant Hercules bird, who, apart from a clump of scruffy pink feathers on its forehead, looked more like a vast reptile than a bird, glided in and touched down at the far end of the beach. took him an age to stop, thundering towards them, hurling sand and pebbles in all directions. He had no legs, but seemed to bounce, and Moog noticed that his enormous stomach was puffed up, softening his landing.
That's clever. The way he bounces.
He stores all his gas in a pouch. It acts like a cushion. Now, make sure you don't mention anything about the, kaboom. He's a lot more careful these days.
Beautiful.
The Hercules finally came to a stop next to them and deflated a bit. Herc and Patrick clearly knew each other well.
Oh, yes,
said Patrick.
We are old friends. We rather need each other, you see.
Need each other? Come off it,
exclaimed the Hercules.
It's a strictly one-way arrangement. Flightless birds.
He moaned.
What's the point, eh? That's the whole point of being a bird. You can fly. It's a laugh apart from anything else.
Why can't some birds fly?
Because they're too flaming lazy, that's why.
Nonsense,
said Patrick, before thinking for a second and then saying,
Well, actually, I suppose that is sort of true.
See?
said Herc.
Lazy fat things. Now he relies on me for a lift.
And a very fine arrangement it is too. Now, if you'd be so kind, we need a lift to the Fossil Record Office.
You what?
said Herc, getting quite agitated.
The Fossil Record Office? We have to stop my dog's print from being recorded.
Do you have any idea how far it is to the centre of infinity? I'm on my break.
No breaks. We've not a minute to lose. If we fly straight, we should be able to catch up with Rockford's paw print. It's got to travel a lot further on the river.
With a resigned sigh, the Hercules bird lowered one of his huge orange wings for them to climb aboard. Moog heaved himself up, but slipped and fell on Herc's leathery skin, down into the mud. He just managed to stop himself from landing face first, and got up for another go. The second time he clambered up safely, and then, with Rockford and Patrick on board, they were all ready to go.
Hold on,
shouted Herc, and with a loud hissing noise, his gas bag tummy inflated, and he began bouncing bizarrely along the beach, beating his huge tail and flapping his four wings as he gradually picked up speed. Moog could scarcely believe such a huge creature could leave the ground, but with a final flick of his tail, the giant launched itself skywards. Up into the air they flew, and into the dazzling infinity sky, inland across the backwards flowing river, climbing ever higher. Below they could see the great valley and the arches, and as they rose still further, all of infinity stretched out in a great swirl before them, the land and the backwards flowing river spiralling in towards the distant centre of the island. Then Moog looked back, over the Sea of Tranquility. On the far horizon, he could just make out little shapes bobbing on the ocean. Thousands of them. And as he stared harder, he saw that they were leaf boats, just like the one he'd arrived in.
There's more and more arriving every day now,
said Patrick, following the boy's gaze.
I haven't seen it so busy since I first arrived.
Herc shouted up.
It's no surprise the registrar's so moody.
As Moog watched the little boats, he began to feel sad, and as he did, he heard a tune drifting on the air, across the island and out over the sea. It was as if infinity itself was calling.
Not long before your birthday, 10,000 years ago, the world was full of beauty, you know. But then they came among us and chased us all away to lonely islands calling to play. And you can hear us sing. live together. Happy and free. 'Cause far beyond the oceans and far beyond the seas, we're gonna live forever. Happy and free.
On they flew, looking down as the island rolled out before them. At first, the creatures they saw below looked familiar, but as they travelled inland, everything changed. As the vast spiral arms of land and water curved in towards the centre of infinity, the animals became strange, and Moog realised they were flying back through the history of life on Earth, and as they flew, each twist of the spiral revealed a more and more ancient collection of amazing creatures.
And you can hear us sing. Far beyond the oceans and far beyond the seas, we're gonna live together. Happy and free. 'Cause far beyond the oceans and far beyond the seas, we're gonna live forever. Happy and free.
The registrar watched as the Hercules bird soared away into the sky, but it couldn't follow. It couldn't possibly jump fast enough to keep up, and the river was too wide to leap over anyway. But wherever they went on Infinity, the registrar would know. Its blank insect eyes stared intently at the place where the boy, the dog, and the bird had boarded the Hercules. Those pitiless eyes had noticed something. Where Moog had slipped and fallen as he tried to climb on Herc's back, he had left a handprint in the mud where he had steadied himself. It was a clear, fresh, human handprint, and it had given the registrar an idea.
Ha ha ha!
It cackled, but only one other creature was there to hear it.
with your dreams.
At home in Battersea, Moog's mother was watching the television anxiously as she waited for news.
I can't believe you could lose both of them,
She said to her sheepish brother. Moog's uncle felt terrible. He'd have told her earlier if he hadn't been so scared of what she might say. But she wasn't angry, just very worried. The police were now in the park, searching for Moog, but also for dozens of dogs whose owners were desperate for news. And on the television, The same story was now being reported from around the world.
Here in New York, experts are baffled. Having started in Battersea Park in London, England, U.S. authorities said initially the dog disappearances were a European phenomenon, and that the U.S. had measures in place to ensure that American dogs could not dematerialize without notice. However, around 1 o'clock our time, a number of dog walkers in Central Park began to notice that the leashes they were holding were suddenly flopping to the ground, empty. Over here they have a phrase, "I'll be doggone," and today that seems to be coming true.
This is the news from the world today. All of the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. And all of the clocks have stopped today, for all the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. This is world news.
Und überall aus Deutschland erreichen uns Berichte über das mysteriöse Verschwinden von Hunden. Die Alarmanten scheinen
Wcześniej dzisiejszego dnia w całej Polsce zaistniało powszechne zamieszanie.
Reports are coming in that the cats are taking over.
תערוכת הכלבים הבינלאומית שעמדה להתקיים היום בגני התערוכה בתל אביב.
de toda América Latina con relación a la desaparición de perros.
There's a showy wild warlord that saw a dingo disappear from her own backyard. She told our reporters, "Straight, mate, what's going on?"
This is the news from the world today. All of the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. But all of the world has stopped today, for all the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. This is world news today.
Moog's mother turned to her brother.
Did you hear what they said? It all started here, in Battersea Park.
But...
So you were right.
I told you it was the truth. We looked round and Rockford had disappeared.
Something very strange is happening. And if your timing is right, then Rockford was the very first dog who vanished. I do hope Moog isn't mixed up in all of this. I just wish I knew where he was.
If Moog's mother had known where he was, she may not have felt a whole lot happier. At that very moment, he was flying to the centre of infinity, clinging to the back of a gigantic inflatable prehistoric bird, with Rockford sat next to him, and Patrick, the flightless mower, perched precariously behind them. All in all, it was not a scene that most mothers would find enormously comforting. On and on they flew, back through the history of life on Earth, and it was all more wonderful than Moog had ever seen in books or films or at the Natural History Museum. There were creatures of every size, shape and colour. Not just the creatures, but the plants too. There were trees like giant cauliflower, jungles of toadstools, and fields of extraordinary rainbow-coloured grasses that whispered tunefully as they flew by.
I'm flightless. I don't like flying.
Every weird and wonderful path nature had ever taken was there. And so, with Herc humming below, and Patrick complaining about how he really wasn't built for flying,
This thing had some secrets.
Moog and Rockford sat back and admired the view. Occasionally, they would pass a swirl of land and water where all was dark. Here, a multitude of eyes glowed up at them from the blackness, and strange cries filled the air. The temperature changed too. Warmer, then colder, then hotter again, as they passed through the many eras of life. On and on they flew, and as they crossed the swirls of the great backwards river, under the surface of the rushing water they could see dark, moving shapes as creatures swam below. And on the surface of the water, they would occasionally spot a lily pad bobbing along that meant a print heading for the Fossil Record Office. Every time they saw one, they hoped it might be Rockford's paw print, but it never was.
I'm not enjoying this. It's better than trekking through the jungle, but only marginally.
I wish there were animals like this at home,
said Moog.
Not all of them, you don't.
Laughed Herc.
See there?
He pointed his head down towards a rather odd-looking pink animal with a big bulbous nose, snuffling about, alone in a gloomy desert. Moog was just beginning to feel a bit sorry for the creature when it looked up and blew its massive nose. Herc flew up, away from the terrible din.
That,
said Patrick,
is the hullabaloo, the honourable hullabaloo.
What a horrible noise.
Not many creatures can stand being around him except the deaf ones. But this desert is dangerous, see, so he's like a warning siren. Every animal comes in useful for something and he's happy. Of course, it wasn't always like that.
The hullabaloo is a creature who was born to sing. But it's a fact that his voice is such a horrible thing that back in a world when they heard it, they'd all run away from the din. Oh no, it's the hullabaloo, the horrible hullabaloo. He's good for nothing, it's true, so shoo. So they hushed the hullabaloo. They stopped him from singing his tune, so the poor little hullabaloo came here. Well, it was just over there, actually.
So here's a clue for you. If you need the proof, the creatures have a secret truth. So the hullabaloo, he didn't know what he could do. He was sad although his heart was true.
So we came to the island feeling lost and alone. But we soon found his secret and his home, singing out loud in the desert, a warning to those who may roam. So, meet the hullabaloo, a friend for me and you. Though he's singing alone in the gloom, it's true. He's the happiest hullabaloo, 'cause he's found out what he can do. Hope that you'll be happy too, like the hullabaloo. 2, 3, 4.
So here's a clue for you. If you need the proof, the creatures have a secret truth.
So meet the hullabaloo,
a friend for me and you.
though we sing his songs in the gloom, it's true.
He's the happiest hullabaloo,
'Cause he's found out what he can do. I hope you'll be happy too, like the hullabaloo.
Every creature has a gift,
agreed Patrick.
Sometimes it takes a while to work out what it is, but they've all got one.
2, 3, 4.
Moog thought about all the leaf boats he had seen heading over the sea to infinity, everyone carrying a creature extinct from Earth. And now, it seemed, a secret the world would never discover,
The world don't know what is missing.
shouted Herc as they waved the hullabaloo goodbye and flew on toward the beginning of life.
Sing along now.
So here's a clue for you. If you need the proof, the creatures have a secret truth.
So meet the hullabaloo,
a friend for me and you.
though we sing his songs in the gloom, it's true.
He's the happiest hullabaloo,
'Cause he's found out what he can do. Maybe you'll be happy too, like the hullabaloo. There you go, meaning of life, mate, meaning of life.
And we now have confirmation that dogs are disappearing in New Zealand. Some unconfirmed reports before, of course, but now this is official. New Zealand, of course, the last major landmass which up until now had remained unaffected. No news yet from Samoa and other outlying islands, but the situation is, of course, changing by the minute.
Back in the world, the dogs had nearly all gone, and everyone
As it happens.
was going crazy.
At an unprecedented meeting, the United Nations General Council agreed a resolution to work together to solve this crisis. The motion was proposed by Russia, seconded by China and America, and backed by Iran, Iraq, Israel, and North and South Korea. It seems this bizarre event has led to a new dialogue. Not so much the dogs of war, but more the dogs of peace.
This is the news from the world today. All of the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. But all of the wars have stopped today. For all the dogs have gone away. This is the news from the streets in Battersea. This is world news today.
This event is so amazing, both sides have laid down their arms and are searching together for the absent animals. Not a shot has been fired since it began. And now the weather. I bet it's hot again.
Oh, I do like being up here. What a view. Wish I could go a bit faster. Don't dare. Just don't dare. Oh, I'm going to glide.
still further, and back through the history of life they flew. And as they travelled on, they looked down, and Moog could see dinosaurs watching them from the ground. And one of them looked exactly like a crocodile trying to peer over a fence. And then at last, there were no big creatures at all. Down below, swamps teemed with bizarre things, trilobites and ammonites, and microscopic weirdnesses, primitive creatures from long, long ago. But Moog was still thinking about what Herc and Patrick had told him. And as he contemplated infinity, their words played around and around in his head. By now, Moog had lost all sense of time, and Rockford and Patrick had both fallen asleep and were snoring loudly.
Typical,
snorted Herc.
Still, shows they feel safe up here. I suppose he told you about my old design fault, did he?
Do you mean the kaboom?
Yeah, did for all the rest of us. I was lucky to survive, really. Weather got hotter, the old gas bag started blowing up in mid-air. Certainly stopped me using the old wind power. Can't go as fast, of course, but the amount of methane I'm carrying, kaboom! Doesn't even begin to describe it.
And so they flew, steadily on, toward the ominous skies of the centre of infinity. Suddenly, as the life below became scarce, the land became jagged and violent. Huge volcanoes bubbled and shot jets of fire high into the sky as lightning filled the air. Rockford barked, and Patrick woke with a start.
Nearly there now. Next stop, Fossil Record Office.
But Herc might not have sounded so pleased if he had seen behind him. For just a little way back flew a big, black bat. The bat's face was glum, but it had no choice. On its back sat the registrar, clinging grimly on with its long, angled legs. And held securely in its clamp-like grip was a small square of mud. The bat hated flying such a long way and was complaining.
Don't be so lazy,
said the registrar.
You can navigate the best route.
No, I can't,
moaned the bat.
My echo doesn't work.
Hopeless.
That's why I'm here. Flew into the side of a cave and bang.
Well, make an effort for once. This print wasn't sent along the river with the others. A terrible oversight.
This is all very unusual. Are you sure it's proper?
Just fly.
And so the bat continued the chase in silence. He had 2 passengers on board, but one was so small that neither he nor the registrar had even noticed it was there. Back up ahead, Moog gasped as there, on the horizon, at the very centre of infinity's swirl, stood a mighty stone structure. It was odd, but he was sure he'd seen it before. Then he realised why. It looked a bit like Battersea Power Station, with its 4 great circular towers. But these towers were bigger, much bigger. These reached for miles up into the sky, and Moog realised that they had arrived at the Fossil Record Office. Herc flew on, and now they could see more clearly. Each tower was a spiral ramp, like a gigantic helter-skelter twisting up into the swirling sky.
Each tower holds a different type of fossil. One for plants, one for fish, one for insects, and one for reptiles, birds, and mammals.
A whole tower? Just for insects?
Oh, you'd be amazed how many there are.
Far below, between the 4 towers, the great backwards river emptied into a wide circular lake, and Moog could just see little groups of lily pads with their prints on board floating at the edge. At the centre of the lake, the water was spinning. Moog could see it twisting around faster and faster before it disappeared down what looked like a huge plug hole in the middle. The centre of this was black and dead, and it was as if everything, even the sound, was being sucked down into it. The Hercules glided down toward the base of the towers and into an eerie stillness. But as they skimmed the water, Moog could see that there were creatures moving on the rocks. Small, simple, jelly-like things, guiding the lily pads with their cargoes up the spiral ramps. He could see many more of them in the lake, sorting the prints as they arrived, and then, like ants, carrying leaves, hauling them up the towers. As they worked, they made a noise too. It sounded like spoo.
Ah, that'll be the spoos,
said Patrick.
Simple creatures, 1 brain between 1 billion of them, and all they do is push fossils up towers, but we couldn't do without them.
Yeah, no one else was stupid enough to work here.
Down below, in the primeval ooze, the spoos continued their work. But the spoos didn't mind. They were a lot cleverer than anyone knew.
Every day forevermore. It may seem obtuse, we need no excuse. It's the life that we choose. Every day forevermore. We do our chores. We are the spoons.
The spools put the fossil prints in place in the tower walls,
explained Patrick.
The towers get higher and higher as more and more fossils join them. The new ones at the top, the oldest ones make the foundations at the bottom. They're all there, everything that's ever lived and come to infinity. Now, if we didn't pass Rockford's print on the water, then it must already be on its way up. Here we are, the Mammal Tower.
Keeping well clear of the swirling blackness at the centre of the lake, the Hercules flew to the base of the vast Mammal Tower. It looked impossibly ancient, with crumbling, gnarled foundations, and Moog could see the primitive prints of creatures long since arrived on Infinity pressed into the rock. Herc began circling the tower, rising slowly, following the track of the ramp.
Keep looking! We've got to find that print before it reaches the top.
Round and round, and higher they flew. But then, just as they were beginning to think they might be too late...
There it is!
Rockford's print was unmistakable. About halfway up the tower, 4 struggling spoos hauling it towards the summit.
Right, grab it!
Cried Herc, and he swooped down. Moog stretched out, fumbling desperately at the tower wall, fighting to get a grip of the slippery print as the Hercules strained over the abyss. Further and further and further he reached, until, at last...
Got it!
Rockford barked in excitement, and Patrick trembled as he sat back upright.
Please don't do that again. I may look like a bird, but I have the aerodynamic properties of a brick.
Mission accomplished! Let's go!
They hugged each other as the Hercules wheeled away, only to find a large black shape flying above him. It was a sinister shape, like an enormous bat. This was because it was indeed an enormous bat. On its back sat the very angry registrar, who now let out a shriek of annoyance.
Put that back! Dogs are extinct!
No, they aren't. It was a mistake.
No mistakes! Put it back!
No!
Shouted Moog defiantly, and with that, he dropped the paw print. Down it fell as the registrar screamed in frustration, and after what seemed like an endless time twisting and turning in the air, it fell onto the great rocks at the base of the tower and shattered into 1,000 pieces. No one on Infinity would have known, but at exactly the moment Rockford's paw print smashed, a sheepdog reappeared in a field in New Zealand, and its surprised owner rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Dogs were beginning to return to Earth. The registrar hated being frustrated in its task. It was here to do its job, and if it couldn't, it felt miserable. The bat flew down until it was almost level with the Hercules, and the registrar's great beady eyes fell upon them.
It's only fair,
shouted Patrick.
It was just a mistake. Dogs weren't on the list for today, and you know it. The Squid Squad knew it, and so did you.
Rolls?
Hissed the registrar.
Rolls?
Well, it's all over now.
No, it is not.
Spat the registrar as it unfolded one of its girder-like limbs. Patrick gasped as he saw what it was holding.
What is it?
The registrar laughed.
Ha ha ha. What is it? Come on, human, use your great brain power and work it out.
Now Moog saw it. It was his own handprint, taken from where he had slipped on the beach.
Not many creatures will miss you. Bye-bye.
The bat began climbing, the registrar urging it upwards, right to the distant top of the tower, where the human print would enter the fossil record forever, and the world would be left to the animals.
Help!
Cried Moog.
Follow him!
All the happiness about rescuing dogs had suddenly disappeared. Now it was a chase to climb fast enough. But not only was the Hercules tired, he was the size of a whale and carrying 3 passengers. And one of them was a big fat moa. His wings struggled to beat fast enough, and they climbed terribly slowly. In front of them, they could see the great black shadow of the bat rising quicker until it was at the top of the tower. The bat hovered far above them, and they watched in horror as the spiny limb of the registrar extended outwards, pushing Moog's handprint towards its final resting place in the wall of the Fossil Record Office. It cried triumphantly.
Enjoy extinction, human.
Moog shut his eyes, too scared to look. But then he opened them again. Came a cry from far above. The registrar was pushing, but try as it might, Moog's handprint wouldn't fit into place. This unexpected problem gave them a chance to catch up. But to climb that distance, that fast, Herc had realised there was only one thing for it.
I'm gonna have to blow me gas bag.
Oh no! Oh, anything but that!
Cried Patrick, visibly cowering at the idea as the Hercules strained and they felt his vast underbelly begin to fill with gas.
Do you really think this is wise? I mean, you know what happened back then. You could, kaboom!
Why, I
said Herc, reddening in the face till his belly stuck out like a zeppelin.
I've been holding this in for 65 billion years, and now seems as good a time as any to see if it still works. Hold on your hats, gentlemen, please!
With this, the Hercules flicked his tail back under his belly, scraping it against his rough skin. As he did, sparks flew, and Moog realised what was about to happen.
Wind power.
The sparks ignited a great mass of gas as it blasted from Herc's belly, and with a massive roar and a jet of flame, the huge creature shot upwards like a rocket. Moog, Rockford and Patrick clung on for dear life as Herc hurtled upwards towards the bat.
Put her out and in,
said Herc as they came to a halt just below the bat.
Why doesn't it fit?
Screamed the registrar, who was still trying to fit the handprint into its slot in the wall.
What is the matter with it?
In despair, the registrar pulled the slab out again, and as it did, Rockford could see why the handprint wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit because it had something stuck underneath it the registrar couldn't see. Something very small and sticky. It was Ick. Rockford looked up in astonishment. Ick looked back.
What's that?
That
cried Patrick in amazement.
is Ick.
The registrar cursed again and shoved the handprint into the wall once more. But this time, with the Hercules now hovering just below him, he pushed so hard the tablet snapped in two and fell. The registrar yelled a terrible shriek of despair, and the Ick, stuck to a slab of mud, dropped from the sky, a panicked look on its little face. But fortunately, for the Cocklebur Ick, not far below was a massive Hercules bird, and on its back were Rockford, Patrick, and a young human. And as Ick fell, in its panic, it saw the human reach out bravely and catch it perfectly.
Yes!
Rockford barked happily, and they all watched as Moog's broken handprint disappeared below into the inky blackness at the centre of infinity. said Moog.
I've never seen anything like you before.
Ick looked up at him. Ick still didn't really trust humans.
I could see how sad you were without your friend.
Said Ick to Rockford as they turned for home.
So when I heard the animals talking about how they could get rid of humans, I decided to give your one another chance.
Moog smiled at the brave little creature, and Rockford licked the Ick to say thank you. And then immediately wished he hadn't.
Never mind when the world seems unkind and you're small. If you try and you do what is right, then you're tall. And you could save the world tonight. Go and change the world and make it all right. You gotta save the world, it's nice. Come and join in world delight. Go and save the world tonight. Never mind if they leave you behind, 'cause you're small. Just bide your time and the meaning of life will unfold. And you could save the world tonight. Go and change the world and make it all right. You gotta save the world, it's nice. Come and join the world delight. Go and save the world tonight. 'Cause even though you're small, you might.
So, the world tonight is in need of answers. There are big questions on everyone's mind concerning life, its infinite variety, and ultimate meaning. But first, some commercials.
So now dogs and humans were safe again.
Here in Germany, we are very excited. The excitement is very enormous.
The first news that dogs were reappearing came through at around midnight in Britain. And soon, excited correspondents were bringing updates from a world united in wonder and celebration.
This is amazing! I've never seen anything like this since a wombat got loose in the Opera House.
Day breaks here in England, camera crews from all the world's news networks are waiting here in Battersea Park in the hope that we might gain an explanation of what has happened. For now, the experts are baffled. Professor Gilda McLean is one of the Natural History Museum's leading zoologists. Professor McLean, what do you make of the mass dog disappearance?
Well, clearly this is an unprecedented extinction event.
Moog's mother turned down the TV.
We need to get down to the park.
She said to her brother.
They're all coming back. And if Moog's with them, I might just forgive you.
cast away. We're lost on infinity in the sea of tranquility. It's all up for you and me now, 'cause we are celebrities in lands of eternity. Lost on infinity swell. We're lost on infinity in the sea of
This,
said Patrick,
has been an extraordinary day.
A large crowd of creatures had gathered on the beach, where Moog and Rockford were stepping into a leaf boat, ready to be escorted by the Squid Squad back across the sea.
I wish I could go back too.
Said Ick, wistfully, looking at the boat and Rockford barking his goodbyes.
You? But you're a hero!
But I don't want to be the last of the eggs.
The last of the Cocklebur
Came a voice from the crowd.
That's only one branch of the family, you know.
Ick looked around in astonishment.
Oh, have you never heard of the Teaselback eggs?
Said a green creature with a rough yellow stripe down its back and a rather familiar-looking face.
No.
Ah, we've got lots of catching up to do then.
Said the Teaselback Ick with a very friendly smile.
Would it be okay if we stick together for a bit?
The leaf boat was ready, and Patrick, who felt he should say a few words, now stepped forward to address the crowd.
And so, for the first time, visitors are leaving our island. And as they depart, I believe there are one or two of you who should be suitably ashamed of yourselves.
Iggy the passenger pigeon, Ono the dodo, and a few others looked down at the ground.
Trying to trap a fellow creature here, it is not up to us to interfere. Whether the humans join us on Infinity or not is up to them, which is why it is important that we let this boy and this dog go back.
But why were they here in the first place?
Shouted Iggy.
I don't know. It all just happened.
It's never happened before.
Shrieked the registrar.
No respect for the rules.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to happen before. Maybe it was supposed to happen now. Don't ask me why. But when I get back, I'll tell them. I'll tell everyone about Infinity. And all of you. And the boat's heading here. Not sure if they'll believe me, though. What on earth am I going to say?
Farewell, Polly.
Colonel Utensil saluted. Squid Squad hurtled from the water and came to attention and then quickly fell back into the sea again. And with Herc now blasting fearlessly high above, the leaf boat drifted away.
Farewell.
Bye! Bye-bye! I won't forget! I will tell them, I promise!
As Moog looked back, high on the cliffs, he noticed a solitary black and white bird lift a wing in farewell. It was the great auk. And as she waved, a new melody sent them on their way across the Sea of Tranquility, the first creatures ever to return. Now it was up to Moog to make the world listen.
What are we going to say, Rockford? What are we going to say?
Calling out from through the years. What kind of message sent could stop all the tears? A little hope from afterlife, and you could make a difference with a life.
What if behind a distant generation left a clue for all to see? Everyone
the darkness there is light, and from a distant shore a message shines bright, a little hope from afterlife, and we could make a difference with a life. What if behind a distant generation left a clue for all to see? Everyone feel a revelation of the earth beneath your feet.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe it was supposed to happen now.
Everyone feel a revelation of the earth beneath your feet. Everyone feel a revelation, and it's all about belief. Everyone feel a revelation of the earth beneath your feet. Everyone feel a revelation, and it's all about belief. Feel a revelation of the earth beneath your feet. Everyone feel a revelation, and it's all about belief. Everyone feel a revelation of the earth beneath your feet. Everyone feel a revelation, and it's all about belief.
Moog and Rockford stared back until all that remained of infinity was a distant glow. The air grew colder, the swirling sky became dark, and the leaf boat became hard and cold like plastic. Then, before long, they were floating out of the mist towards the edge of a lake in a snowy park. Lit by lamps. Lots of lamps. All around him, Moog could hear talking. Battersea Park was full of people and dogs, and there were camera flashbulbs going off everywhere.
Oh dear,
He said,
we must be in big trouble.
But I don't believe this tale's already through. So he'll keep on calling till his time is due. And he'll keep on walking 'cause this tale is true. It's true.
So it seems tonight it's welcome home Fido as owners everywhere celebrate Rover's return. Our correspondent follows the lead to Battersea Park. Do I have to read this?
Hello? Hello?
Here in the quaint suburb of Battersea in London, it's what? Battersea?
Come on, Rockford. We've got some explaining to do.
Moog lifted Rockford up and stepped onto the bank, only to have a large microphone shoved into his face.
Is this the first dog that disappeared?
Shouted a reporter.
Did you know that every dog on the planet vanished?
Said another.
Where on earth have you been?
Cried a woman's voice, and Moog recognised his mother running through the crowd.
Am I in trouble?
He said.
No,
Said his uncle.
but I am.
I leave him in charge of Rockford for one afternoon, and the next thing, every dog on the planet has vanished. It's terrible, it really is.
Moog thought about the promise he'd just made to the creatures of infinity and tried to think what he could say to everyone.
It's so good to see you.
We've been to an amazing place,
he said.
It's where everything goes when it's extinct.
Oh, come on,
said a cynical reporter.
Can you offer the slightest piece of evidence to back up such an incredible story?
I went there,
said Moog.
and I saw all the creatures. They spoke to me.
So how is this linked to today's disappearance?
Well, why did just the dog vanish?
Did they speak English?
Do you have a message for the people of Germany?
Where is this
They would be very excited to
Moog
hear
went
it.
blank. He couldn't answer all these questions. With the cameras and lights and voices shouting at him, suddenly he almost doubted the story himself.
For any of this?
Maybe he'd just dreamt the whole thing.
Come on, tell us.
He looked down at Rockford.
Talk about Rockford? You and the animals. What did you discuss?
Look, do you have any message for us at all?
Shouted the cynical reporter and shoved another microphone at Moog so hard it bumped into his chest. As it did, something fluttered out of the front of Moog's jacket pocket. Something green. The thud of the microphone had disturbed the anonymous moth, who, overcome with sleepiness in the warmth of infinity, had slipped inside for a doze. Now, waking with a start and sensing cold air and darkness, he fluttered out, only to be caught in the glare of the lights. Confused, he flew wildly for a second before Moog's uncle caught him gently in his hands and peered at him.
Can I see that, please?
Said a woman wearing glasses standing nearby. Moog's uncle unclasped his hands, and the woman looked amazed.
Good heavens! I never thought I'd see one of these. We thought moths like this were all extinct.
How do you know?
Asked the cynical reporter.
This is Professor Gilda McLean,
Said another newsman.
from the Natural History Museum.
This really is remarkable. A truly significant species. We must give it a name.
The anonymous moth hadn't been so excited since it left its cocoon, and the cynical reporter had gone very quiet all of a sudden.
The creatures have a secret,
Said Moog, smiling to himself. Professor McLean looked down at him.
We shall look after this moth very well. Don't you worry. We might see if we can get it to breed.
The moth looked quite keen on this idea.
I am green, but now the world has seen.
Moog's mother hugged him. She hugged Rockford, and she even hugged Moog's uncle. As snow fell over Battersea Park, the earth woke to a hopeful new dawn. And a boy, a dog, and an anonymous moth delivered a message that would change the world forever.
Come on, Rockford. I think they'll listen now.
Day's dawning and the world is calling. there's an old world falling.
'Cause it's the day we found a way.
And everyone can see a message sent for you and me. Come calling, there's a new world dawning for me. The creatures have a secret warning
For me and you, and Rockford too.
There's wonder in the life that's crawling, and it's the day we found a way. Now everyone can see the secret's out for you and me. Come calling, there's a new world dawning for me.
The ceasefires announced earlier seem to be holding, and the spokesman for the UN tonight said, "Crumbs, this hasn't happened to us before."
It's hard to believe what happened, but it so happens it did happen, and those disappearing dingoes and miraculous moths seem to be telling us something. Those creatures have a secret, and we would love to know what that secret is.
Lost on Infinity.
We can save the world.
Come calling, there's a new world dawning for me.
And indeed all of us.
Come calling on a new world dawning, with me and you, and Rockford too. Come celebrate the life we're all in, for it's the day we found a way. Now everyone can see the wonders of infinity. Come calling, there's a new world dawning for me, and me, and me, and me, and me, and me. You'll see.
So this is one dog that definitely had his day.
Seems the whole world is ready now to meet small boy with an incredible message.
And quite extraordinary news just in. This anonymous moth has some very unusual characteristics.
Earlier reports indicate that this moth naturally produces a chemical which interacts with carbon dioxide, potentially reducing...
A team of the world's top scientists have now gathered at the Natural History Museum to confirm Professor Gilda McLean's remarkable findings.
Scientists the world over drawn to wondering about the birth of. Normally, it's the case the caterpillar has turned into a moth, but in this case, it's a moth that might just turn into the biggest story of the century.
Our understanding of the universe has taken a fundamental step forward. The creatures have a secret. You'd better believe it. Baby.
And from that day, far away on their distant island, the creatures of infinity noticed a change, and they celebrated. There were fewer leaf boats arriving. There were still some, but since Moog's visit, there were no new stories about selfish or greedy humans. And as the cocklebur Ick tended her garden of extinct sticky plants, she often thought of Rockford and Moog.
People.
Thought Ick.
Perhaps they're not twits anymore.
As for Rockford, he still loved his walks in Battersea Park with Moog. And while the world marvelled at their amazing adventure, he would simply return to his favourite spot, under his special tree with the blue plastic bag waving from its branches, and where he did what dogs do by trees in parks. And he would smile a knowing, doggy smile. Because Rockford alone understood the truth and the powerful magic that had now brought peace and harmony to all the world.